Well, new this morning, Microsoft takes action against an international scam operation. The company says it seized 340 websites tied to a Nigerian operation conducting phishing schemes that stole 5,000 user credentials.
Microsoft received a U.S. District Court order earlier this month to obtain websites linked to a subscription service that let subscribers impersonate trusted brands and obtain login credentials on fake Microsoft login pages.
Microsoft and IT company Cloudflare say they disrupted the operations and prevented the bad actors from creating new accounts.
Monarez is set to testify before the Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, and she's expected to contradict what Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has said about her ousting. The Associated Press obtained what's said to be her prepared testimony, and in it she says she's going to talk about U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary putting politics before health when he required political staff to clear all CDC policy and personal decisions. Monarez says she was fired for refusing to pre-approve recommendations for a vaccine advisory panel, and she also notes Kennedy directed her to fire a number of high-ranking CDC officials without cause. Several other top employees resigned in protest.
I'm very concerned for the health of people in America and the security of the nation because of what's happening to CDC. You can't dismantle public health and expect public health to be protected.
Now we have ideology and partisan politics determining what the recommendations are for how to keep our kids safe and healthy. That's not normal, and it's not acceptable.
Last month, hundreds showed up at CDC headquarters to stand in solidarity with them. Those former CDC leaders accused the HHS secretary of pushing reckless policies. They warned recent policy shifts could undermine public health guidance. The outgoing staffers cited budget cuts, mass firings, and vaccine misinformation as reasons for their resignations. Secretary Kennedy stated he wants leadership that'll, and I quote here, execute on President Trump's broad ambitions. Last month, the White House appointed the CDC's new acting director, Jim O'Neill, and since then, there have been pushes for the health secretary to step down, including calls from his family, who says he's a, quote, threat to the health and well-being of every American. Georgia Senators John Ossoff and Reverend Raphael Warnock also echoed those calls for Kennedy to step down as recommendations for COVID-19 vaccines changed. More than 1,000 former and current HHS employees also want Kennedy to resign, but the secretary insists he's staying the course.
How am I a threat?
You promised that you would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. You just changed the classification of the COVID vaccine.
I'm not taking them away from people, Senator.
It takes it away if you can't get it from your pharmacist.
Former CDC Chief Medical Officer Deb Oury is also expected to testify today. She stepped down from her role in protest of Monarez's firing. Now, both of them are expected to face tense questions from Republicans over the CDC's vaccine recommendations and COVID-19 policies. Meanwhile, Democrats are likely to seek more information on Kennedy's approach to vaccines.
Happening now, the search for a driver who rammed his car into the front gate of the FBI headquarters in Pittsburgh. Investigators say they consider this a targeted attack against the FBI. It all happened around 2:30 this morning. Officials say the driver hit the gate, then got out, tossed an American flag over metal bars. FBI has identified the driver as Donald Henson on Penn Hills, Pennsylvania. He is currently on the run.
This morning.
Well, Cardi B is coming to Atlanta for her new tour. The rapper announced the Little Miss Drama Tour is set to take the stage at State Farm Arena April 17th, the last stop on her tour. So she's ending it on a high note. That's our takeaway from that. This will be her first headline arena tour. It celebrates her second album, Am I the Drama, which drops Friday. Ticket pre-sales start September 22nd.
The annual Shaky Knees Festival is this weekend. This year's event has moved to Piedmont Park. Organizers say there are 3 entrances to the festival: 12th Street, Charles Allen, and Park Drive. There's no on-site vehicle parking, so rideshare or MARTA is encouraged. Now, some of the artists scheduled to perform this year includes Lenny Kravitz, My Chemical Romance, The Black Keys, All American Rejects, and Blink 182, a star-studded field. So enjoy.
Very nice lineup. New this hour, a lawsuit filed by a woman who was hit in the face by a baseball at Truist Park is moving forward.
Yeah, this happened back in 2021 during Game 3 of the World Series between the Braves and the Houston Astros. Myra Norris and her husband allege former outfielder Jorge Soler threw a baseball into the crowd so hard that she didn't have time to get out of the way before it hit her in her eye.
Yeah, the lawsuit was dismissed last year by a Cobb County judge, but last week the Georgia Court of Appeals reversed that decision. Norris is seeking compensation for damages and attorney fees.
Also new, Georgia lawmakers are getting closer to tightening regulations on oversight for homeowners associations.
Subcommittee of Senate Rules Committee held its first hearing yesterday on legislation that would provide state regulation for HOAs. Senate Bill 361 was proposed during the 2024-25 legislative session, and among the things it would do is require HOAs to register with the Secretary of State's office for oversight.